Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right, Craig. Your green screen's black. I think there's something wrong with it. Your green screen's black.
I know.
Hey, welcome back to the program. My name is Mike Pure Orshi, coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most. Here on the Rundown, two-way views, conservative news, and Craig, guess what day it is?
Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Who's ready?
Throw Punch Thursday, bitch.
Why does that amuse me every single time?
You like guys in Ranger panties?
No. I like watching guys get
I mean,
punched in the
they
throat.
make you laugh. Let me rephrase that. You like to laugh at guys in Ranger panties?
I do like, especially when they get punched in the throat.
Yes.
Something
Your shirt, I just want to say this. Your shirt's floating back and forth between Doge, and then when you lean forward to get serious, it says Dog F.
Dog F. Doge.
Dog F.
So I was at the California State Fair. I was at the Republican booth, staffing the Republican booth, and I saw this T-shirt, and I said, Doge does not get enough love anymore. So I figured I'm gonna do that. So I got me a little gold American flag, and at the very bottom it says, so what do you say you do here?
Yeah. So I'm curious, what did you and the other Republican in California do in the booth together?
Oh, trust me, there are more Republicans in California than there are in any other state in the country. Problem is there just happens to be twice as many Democrats.
Yeah, and most of them are all illegal. So,
well, yeah, we all know, the problem is that there's maybe probably not twice as many Democrats. It's just there's twice as many registered Democrats.
well, with the motor voter law, you got plenty that are registered.
Oh yeah, well, when you have 250,000 people who are registered to vote who probably either don't live here or aren't citizens, that's what tends, or have died, that tends to happen.
Listen, Craig, I understand how difficult it is, the motor voter law. Because in Florida here, it's the same thing. When you come and get a driver's license, not only are you registered for vote, you're also registered for the draft because that's still a thing. Yet, you know what they do before they hit enter? They check the other computer that says not a citizen, and they go, "Oh, don't give them anything."
You mean the one that says an alert directly to ICE?
Yes.
That one? Yeah. Okay.
Well, now it does. I mean, before nobody cared when there was 12 illegals here, but now that there's 20 million, it's a big deal.
Yeah, sure. There's always only ever been 12 illegal immigrants in Florida.
Have you not been to Florida? We stand on the beach and count them coming. We
Count
know.
them coming. Yeah, but if they're Cuban, they get to stay.
Yeah, but if they're Haitians, we don't even let them on the beach. We're just
True that. So how do you distinguish if they're Haitian or if they're Dominican, from the Dominican Republic? I mean, do you guys treat them differently?
Most of them carry ID, unlike Democrats. So it's weird. It's
they issue IDs in Haiti?
Well, yeah. I mean, they're not backwater, they're Haiti, so it's
Stop, wait, stop right there. Hold on a second. You just said they're Haiti.
Well, yeah, they just listen. The only difference between them and us is their government murders them out in the open. Ours does it secretly.
Wait. Haiti has a government?
Yeah.
When did this happen?
But it's actually like a Grandpapa Doc now.
Grandpapa Doc. Okay, grandson, Grandpapa Doc. Okay,
it's grandson Doc. Yeah.
There you go. Well, thank you for your
it's actually kind
update
of easy
on.
to tell because where they're coming ashore in Florida is usually a pretty good indication. And I'm not trying to be racist because it's not about race, but like 100% of Haitians are black skinned, dark skinned. Where in Cuba it's only like 20%.
Well, but I'm talking about the difference between Cuba and the Dominican Republic, because I'm assuming folks from the DR are cool.
Oh yeah,
Haiti
DR's
not so
right,
much.
yeah.
Yes, but now they're from the same island.
Well, from DR and Haiti they're on the island of Hispaniola, but the Haitians are on the west side of the island, so it's easy for them to hop on a man-made raft and catch the current.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas In Dominican Republic, you don't want to do that. You're going to end up out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, but in the
But they got
Dominican
nobody-
Republic,
they-
you could just hop on a plane and come to the United
That's right. Yeah,
States.
boat, plane. Here you go. Yeah, or take one of AOC's trains. Yeah.
There you go. Take one of AOC. There you go. Take one of AOC's trains. All right, folks. Well, apologize, everybody. I was at a doctor's appointment yesterday that wound up going over, so I wasn't able to do the show. And sadly, it was with a doctor that was not even here in Sacramento, so it was like a long distance trip. But we are back today, and we've got lots of fun stuff. No, it wasn't one of those, Mike. No, no probing fingers.
Just check.
I don't have to drive out of town for that.
Yeah, you can get that at home. Yeah. That's it.
Anyway, get that. Anyway, folks, let's go ahead and kick this off. And we'll start off the way we usually do with a quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yeah, let's say hi to our good friends at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net. You want some AR rifles, AR barrels? They've got them all. They've got rifle caliber, pistol caliber, any length you desire for your next AR build or rebarrel your current platform. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you could take part in California's future today. If you want the best in concealed tactical holsters on the market, get on over to hogholsters.com. That's HAWG holsters.com, hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. That's all one word, no spaces, all caps. Get a nice little discount. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, law enforcement, security, fire, EMS, Cub Scout, Boy Scout, whatever it may be, get your group together, get your agency together, place an order at uscombatgear.com, where you can get everything except the gun.
Also want to encourage you, if you have not already done so, please take a moment and sign up for the 2A newsletter. Get your Second Amendment news in your inbox every day, Monday through Friday. Whether you're getting it from the mainstream media, whether you want to get it from the 2A news media, whether you want to get it from the blogosphere, or even from video vlogosphere, this is the place to get it. We make it real simple. All you have to do is go to 2anews.us. Hit the subscribe button. It's right there at the top. Hit the subscribe button, put in your email address, and you will be subscribed. It is really that simple to get your daily dose of Second Amendment news. Also, want to remind you, if you're watching the show during the 3 o'clock hour on the West Coast, 6 o'clock hour on the East Coast, you are watching us live, and we would love to hear from you. We would love to hear your comments on the show, if you like it, if you dislike it. Whether you agree with us or disagree with us. In fact, the best way to probably get your comment up is to disagree with us. Because, by the way, we'd like to believe that we're always right. Whenever you disagree with us, it gives us the opportunity to mock you.
Oh, wow, is that a mockingbird?
Man, is that a mockingbird? Is that a mockingbird?
Yeah. Listen, Craig, it's not that we always want to be right. It's that we always end up being right. Might take a little time.
It does kind of happen that way, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in the end, here's the thing. I'm the sort of person where when we debate, and I think you can attest to this, when I am wrong, I admit that I am wrong. But you gotta earn it.
Yeah. So you do it like a little baby way, but you do it. Yeah.
A little baby way. Oh, so in other words, I don't do a big
Yeah,
old
like-
flop like a soccer player.
No, you do like LeBron. You do it like you're like, fine, you're right, but that dress makes you look fat.
What's wrong with that?
I don't know.
What's wrong with doing it like that? What's wrong with doing it like that? Look, I am just adding more truth to the comment. Look, I'm accepting the fact that I was wrong, so I'm acknowledging the truth. And while I'm acknowledging the truth, that dress makes you look fat.
Dropping some extra truth bombs. Yeah, that's it.
There you go.
Yeah, you
Now-
might be right, but you're ugly too.
Exactly. See? There's nothing wrong with that, right? As long as we're
No.
telling the truth.
I'm good with that. That's like a double truth. You want the truth? I'll tell you the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
And you look fat in that dress.
At least I didn't say you are fat. I just said you look fat in that dress.
Oh no, that's like saying stop acting like a bitch, right? Did you call me a bitch? No, I said don't act like
like
one.
don't
I
act
said
like one.
like
Don't
you're
act
not
like
now, but don't do that.
Don't do that because I'd hate for you to be one.
Yeah, I'll tell you
Right.
what I used to do at work. Listen, I used to get my boss would always be on me for speaking my mind to people, and he said, "Listen, it's against policy for you to tell people off," and I would Like, okay. And so they'd call, like, and I'd be on the phone with them, and I said, listen, if you come down here, I just want you to know that there's a guy that's dressed like me, got a haircut like me. If he calls you a dumbass, it wasn't me, because that's against policy.
That's against policy.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike, you need Jesus. I'm gonna pray for you, bro. I'm gonna pray for you. All right. All right. Talking about truth and truth bombs. Now, we all know that the Associated Press and the New York Times are, I'm trying to think of a very nice way to put this. They're friggin' liars. Not only are they liars, they just don't understand the truth or fact. And they have a really, really hard time reporting the truth and facts. At least I can't say everybody over there, but I can say a lot of people over there. I can say when I look at the news reporting and I'm looking at the information that's coming forward, it's just a whole bunch of it tends to come from them that they tend to believe a lot of things that just are not so, right? And one of those has to do with, well, in this particular case, public executions in Iran. And I think it's really important for us to understand that for those people who are out there defending Iran, who act like they're like, the big bad United States is attacking innocent people. I think it's important for folks to understand that, that's just not the truth. So one of the things that came up, and this was in a report by the New York Times as well as the Associated Press, had to do with public executions. And it was reported because there was a recent public execution of two individuals who supposedly, and I say supposedly because we all know, Iran puts out more propaganda than they do actual news press. But it had to do, they said they apparently, or what's the word I'm looking for? They claimed that they had killed two police officers during a recent protest. And as a part of their report, it was actually reported that public executions in Iran are actually very rare, right? This being reported by the folks over at the Washington Free Beacon. Let me read a little bit of the report here to you. As you can see, there's a rare public execution right there. Let's see here. Here we go. The Associated Press says public executions are not uncommon in Iran. I'm sorry. And then it says the watchdog group Iran Human Rights counted 459 such executions between 2008 and 2025, frequently featuring large audiences, including children, United Against Nuclear Iran reports that Iran regularly carries out executions in public. In many of these cases, the victim is publicly hanged from a construction crane, and especially slow and painful execution method. And that doesn't even mention the extrajudicial killings of pro-democracy protesters. President Trump has said between 30,000 and 52,000 of them were murdered this year by Iranian regime, many shot in the forehead. And this all came as a part of a story. Now, this was written by the New York Times. This, once again, the main story was Tehran hangs two protesters, but as a part of it, it says Iran has long been one of the world's most frequent users of capital punishment, but public executions are extremely rare. Now, first of all, Mike, I'm curious, how do they define public execution? So does mowing 20, 30,000 people down in the streets, does that count as a public execution?
I don't know. I think for them, a public execution is more of like a UFC event. Like they promote it, they sell tickets, they get a little propaganda machine going out there. I think these spontaneous ones are just bonus executions for them. I don't think that's public executions.
Okay. You have a legitimate point there. You have a legitimate point there. I guess if you kill everyone who witnessed it, who would have potentially been a witness to it, that doesn't count as a public execution.
If a tree falls in the forest and there's no one there to hear it.
But now here's another twist on it. If you kill everyone in public, is that not a public execution? Or is it just an execution of the public?
Yeah, but if there's no public there left, then did it ever happen? You know what I'm saying?
That is an interesting
And realistically,
question.
Craig, I know what the New York Times is doing. There's 93 million people in Iran. I mean, that number's going down every day. We know that. There's
Right.
93 million people in Iran. You kill a couple hundred. I mean, if that was COVID, we wouldn't even have to break out the masks. That's
Right.
just such a small number.
Right. Well, first of all, I need to correct something, because in the very beginning I mentioned Associated Press and New York Times. And then in a second read, I realized it was the New York Times specifically who had this headline. But that doesn't, in this particular case, it absolves the Associated Press. But there are plenty of places where the Associated Press has been both inaccurate and just flat out lied. So I don't feel bad about it. I just felt necessary. I felt it necessary to provide that needed correction.
Yes. Did you see that also today, since the counter strikes and the strikes and the counter strikes yesterday, Iran announced today that they were going to be raining terror down upon the U.S. Raining terror down upon the U.S. It makes me wonder what they've been doing the last couple of months if they weren't raining terror. All I can think is this reign of terror must include op-eds to New York Times. That's probably how they're going to do it. Op-eds to New York Times, reign of terror.
Yeah. Well, and maybe a little funding towards American universities like Columbia and Princeton and Harvard. Rain down. They'll make it rain. They'll make it rain.
That's it.
That's what they're talking about.
Make it rain.
They'll make it rain at American universities, at these Ivy League schools. No, they have stepped up attacks on border countries that are near them, people that they can actually reach, like Egypt, right? Which I think is dumb. They were a top 20 army, right? It's like, why are you picking fights? It's like, okay, I've already picked a fight with the 800-pound gorilla. Why don't I now go pick one with the 400-pound or the 200-pound mountain lion?
So clearly they're using the chicken on the checkerboard method here for determining their tactics. Okay, we're being destroyed every day by the Great Satan, by the United States of America. They're destroying us and our way of life. Let's attack other Muslim countries. That'll stop it. What? Would you get a new chicken, dude? He's picking bad tactics. Okay.
Yeah,
How does that work?
It's a horrible idea, and they're doing it because they know that they can't reach us, and they're hoping that they will rein in or gain some of the support of the more radical Muslims in places like Egypt or in places like Saudi Arabia, because they'll say, well, if we were really Muslim like the Iranians, they won't attack us. If we were fighting the Great Satan the way Iran is, this wouldn't be happening. They wouldn't be attacking us. I really believe that is their motivation, not so much that and the fact that they know they can't really get to the United States.
I mean, the people in Egypt, right? The people in Egypt, the government in Egypt, they're getting attacked now by Iran. And Iran thinks that they're going to say, oh man, let's jump on the bandwagon and attack the U.S. Whereas the people in Egypt are like, we want another Chick-fil-A. Let's just continue to support the U.S. here.
Right.
I want a McDonald's on the corner. Let's, throw some bombs at Iran. Let's be done with this.
Pretty much. But anyway, interesting things happening. And one of the reasons why I wanted to point this out is because people need to understand. I really do believe that there are a lot of people who are on the wrong side of issues, largely because they have bad information. And they're getting their information from places like the Associated Press or like the New York Times. And the worst part is that these news organizations are undermining their own credibility because the information that they're putting forward is so easily researched. It's so easy to find out that they're wrong. That's like, well, in the end, what really can you trust them with?
Craig, in the words of the great Red Foreman, bad things are not happening to them because of bad luck and because they're the victim. Bad things are happening to them because they're dumbasses.
There you go. Pretty much. Speaking of dumbasses, let's talk about Anthony Fauci. Didn't get a chance to talk to you about him yesterday, but Anthony Fauci, after saying how committed he was going to be, how he was not afraid to go before Congress, and how he could explain everything that he did. Well, when he basically made commitments like this.
Well, if I become a punching bag, I'm a punching bag, but I am very happy to testify before any congressional oversight committee. I have nothing to hide. I can explain and validate everything that I've done. So, it's going to be inconvenient if they actually are out there essentially threatening to make my life miserable. But I'm going to do what I need to do, and that is cooperate fully because we have nothing to hide.
They have nothing to hide. Well, evidently he does have something to hide because he basically spent an hour and a half yesterday pleading the fifth, basically taking the fifth. And, for people out there who are wondering, well, why are we doing this? Look, dude, he already got a pardon from Biden, which was really, by the way, kind of odd because it was prospective going forward for anything that happened, for a period of time. I think it was like 2012, all the way up until then. But he gave him this pardon, so he couldn't go to jail for anything. So why not tell the truth? And why is this important? It's important for these reasons that are laid out by the committee chairman, Dr. Rand Paul.
1 million Americans died from COVID-19. Some estimate as many as 15 million people died worldwide from COVID-19. Publicly, Anthony Fauci promoted the theory that the virus arose naturally, while privately, he was well aware of a mountain of evidence suggesting the virus originated in the lab. The American people deserve answers. The American people deserve to know why dangerous research was funded by NIAID in a totalitarian country, in a lab that lacked acceptable safety standards. The decision to fund dangerous gain-of-function research in Wuhan, China, will likely go down in history as perhaps one of the worst public health decisions. Frankly, the American people deserve an apology. I hope today Dr. Fauci will come clean, admit it was a mistake to fund dangerous research in China, admit that the risk of this dangerous research exceeded any possible benefits, ask forgiveness, and pledge to help our government devise safeguards so a man-made epidemic never happens again. Instead of an apology, you have for years avoided responsibility. Regarding the lockdowns, you argue that you did not personally issue every lockdown order, close every school, or impose every mandate. But officials across the country invoked your authority to justify these decisions. And you presented your recommendations not as judgments open to debate, but as dictates of science itself.
So, and I think that he really hit the nail there, because one of the things about the information that came out in the diaries was there was a very big difference between the things that Dr. Fauci was saying publicly and the things that he was acknowledging behind the scenes, and the things he was saying to different people behind the scenes. Like there, he talked about, Dr. Fauci never said publicly, yeah, we need to shut down schools, we need to shut down businesses. But he admits in his diary that he talked to people like governors, he talked to policymakers and convinced them to shut down the schools, to shut down businesses. And it had a dramatic impact, and now come to find out, he knew that wasn't a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely, Craig. I actually did some, since we talked about it yesterday, did some more research, contact some of the people I know in the Beltway, and they sent me some classified documents dealing on the subject, and I want to show them to you here. You're fired.
You mean wait? You mean this?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anything you say, 5. Go ahead, ask me a question. Did you? 5. I have a secret document that I think you need to say.
The same document he sent me.
Same exact document. You know what? I was gonna save that for parting shots, but I figured since you brought it up, the number of those videos that are out there, the different versions of that, are hilarious.
It's crazy. And as pointed out during the hearings, he's not allowed to take the fifth. He was given a pardon for that activity. He can now no longer claim a right to the privilege because he's been given immunity. He must testify. There is a criminal case there to be had. Additionally, I know that, listen, our attorney general here in Florida is now opened an investigation into him over this. So whereas that pardon may protect him on federal level, it does not protect him on state charges. And with the deaths we had here in Florida, guess what? The fifth ain't going to help him. Ain't going to help.
No, it is not. And I think you make a great point because in many cases, decisions were made based on information provided by him. And once again, we now know that the information that he provided, in many cases, not only was it wrong, he knew it was wrong. The question
Yes.
is, was it false? Meaning, did he deliberately lie? Right? Do we know that he was lying, or was he just wrong? In either case, even when he knew he was wrong, he still never corrected himself.
Yeah. His goal after going through his diary was financial and popular success. That's all he wanted.
Oh yeah, he was interested in being. He wanted to be the man. He wanted to be popular.
Yeah.
He wanted to be liked, and as a result, he didn't want to say things that were going to be quote unquote unpopular.
Yeah.
Anyway, this next case, and I'm really interested to get your perspective on this one, Mike. And I believe we've talked about it before, but as you might know, there's a father of a teen school shooter who was found guilty. Basically his teenage son got access to his firearms and went to a school, shot and killed, I believe 4 people, 3 died. I could be incorrect. I could be incorrect about the numbers, but not only was the son convicted and sentenced to life, but the father was also convicted and got 15 years. This being reported by this is report here specifically is coming from the BBC. It says here, the father of a teenage boy who shot and killed 4 people at a high school in the United States in Georgia has been sentenced to 15 years in prison for murder, manslaughter, and other charges. Colin Gray, 55, was found guilty in March on a slate of charges stemming from the 2024 attack that left 2 teachers and 2 students dead in Winder, Georgia. His son, 16-year-old Colt Gray, pled guilty to the murders last week, and investigators said that the rifle he used was a gift from his father. Colin Gray was, quote, the one person who could have prevented, end quote, the shooting from happening, prosecutors said. The attack at Appalachia High School outside of the city of Atlanta claimed the lives of Christian Angulo, 14, Mason Schermerhorn, 14, Richard Aspinwall, 39, and Christina Irene, 53. Colin Gray's prosecution marks the 3rd time a U.S. parent has been held criminally responsible for a mass shooting carried out by their child, according to CBS News, the BBC's U.S. partner. Now, there's a little bit more to it than the fact that he bought him a gun or that he provided the firearm per se, but that he actually knew that his son was dealing with some mental health challenges, and instead of seeking help for his son and making sure that he didn't have access to these firearms, he just basically flat out ignored it. So anyway, but I also see my problem is I have a challenge with just in general the idea of parents being held accountable for their children when, here, if you give an example, like in a place like California, and I don't know about the case in Georgia, I could not get access to my 16-year-old child's medical records or their mental health records. I could not have access to them without my child's permission. They're seen then as adults. So the idea of saying, okay, well, we're not going to give you the ability to basically be their parent, but at the same time, we're going to hold you responsible for the decisions that they make and the things that they do. I don't know. I don't know how comfortable I am with these precedents.
Listen, and each one of these cases had different and specific instances of how the child got a hold of a firearm. If this was simply hey, my son's a whack job. Here you go, son. You don't like them kids at school? Take this gun and show them who's boss. That's clearly a criminal act, I would say. But when you start saying parents are responsible for the actions of their children, oh boy, you're setting a dangerous precedent there, Craig. Where does this go? How does this turn out if, and let's say you start to go after the parents of, I don't know, young Black Americans that kill each other in gangs, and you go after their parents. I mean, that's the majority of violent, gun related violence is young Black Americans versus young Black Americans, criminals versus criminals in gangs. I'm not saying all young Black Americans are criminals. Don't get me wrong. The ones that happen to be in the gangs, it's a small number. But what if we start going after their parents and we start putting their parents into jail? What's that do? How does that look? What's the atmosphere then?
Well, exactly. Now you just hit the nail right on the head, because in many of those cases, you'd be looking at single moms.
Yep.
And then to a certain degree, to what degree are you talking about dad? If dad's not there, not present, how responsible is he because he wasn't present? We don't know. But I just think it's a dangerous precedent to get into. And once again, that does not necessarily apply in this case, because there were a number of telltale signs. I mean, police had already been questioning him about the son about threats. Dad, I mean, it's hard to argue that dad didn't know that giving his son access to firearms was a bad idea.
So again, let's just use the opposite of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a young, on the opposite side, a young Black American who's in a gang, right?
Right.
Again, that's a tiny number, folks. Don't take this the wrong way, but that's where the majority of the gun violence comes from. The violence with guns comes from, and he gets arrested a couple of times. He gets detained by the police. Well, the parents absolutely know. What did they do to stop him? What did they do to stop him from doing that? What about the father, who by not being there and able to influence him and to keep him on the straight and narrow, how is he now he's culpable because he wasn't there to stop him.
I can give you an example, an incident that happened right here in Sacramento. A gentleman who was a convicted felon had a firearm, had it in the glove compartment of his car. Somehow his son found out about it. Son basically was racing. It was a 10 or 11-year-old kid. Lost a race to another kid. They got into an argument. He went, got the gun, shot the other kid. And, and dad is being held liable. And I kind of agree with that. First of all, you're a felon with a firearm. You're not supposed to have it. You're a convicted felon with a firearm. You're not supposed to have a gun. Number two, you're definitely not supposed to keep it in a place where a child can get access to it, in the glove compartment of your car. Once again, unlocked car for him to be able to get access to. So,
Right.
The problem is that what I don't want to see happen is I don't want to see, like, how do I want to put this? Because a lot of these laws are not just like for example, it's not just that they knew, it's that they should have known. And once you start getting into the should have known, then it becomes very subjective. It's not objective. If I can prove that they knew, and I think in each of these cases, in the case that I said, he knew his child should not have access to a firearm. In the case where we're talking about here, this dude in Georgia knew it was pretty obvious his child should not have had access to a firearm. They knew. It's when you get to the should have known that I start having a problem.
Right. And again, the police bring that child home 3 or 4 times to tell you he's on the path to destruction. I think that counts as should have known.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Most definitely. I'm 100% agree with that. But it just, once again, I'll continue to say it. A lot of people want to think that things like this are black and white, and there's a whole lot of shades of gray, and it depends on the specific circumstances of the specific situation, the specific story, the specific shooting.
Agreed.
And people want to throw everything into one thing, and I'm like, well, how about we get some details first?
That's right.
All right. This next one, and I don't think I need a whole lot of details on this one. The owner of the Seattle Storm, the WNBA team there in Seattle, basically decided that she was going to basically go up to a bunch of teenagers who were at a game supporting Sophie Cunningham. You might remember Sophie Cunningham. She's a WNBA player that was standing up and supporting Caitlin Clark. She's the pointing one, right? Well, she came out and she was talking about whether or not transgender athletes should be able to participate in women's sports. In particular, male to female trans athletes should be able to participate, basically biological males participating in women's sports. And she said no, she didn't believe that that was the case. And so these young girls were coming out to support her, and they got, well, let's just say cussed at and reprimanded by one of the owners of a WNBA team. Here's their story.
Well, we were just sitting there with our signs that said, like, we love Sophie, like, thank you, Sophie, for speaking up. And so we were holding on, just watching the game. Again, like, we were being super great. We hadn't said anything to anyone else. We were being super respectful. We were just holding our signs and cheering for both teams. And this lady, older lady, comes up to us. And she comes up to us, and at first I think she's going to be nice. And then she asked, like, what are you guys doing? Something like that. And then it was like, Jesus loves everyone. That's what she told us. And I was like, oh, I know. Like, I'm religious. Like, I know. Like, I know. Nice. Yeah. And she's like, oh, I hope Jesus can forgive you for what sin you've done. And, like, something like that. And then she told us that we were effing insane. And that we
and she's like, and she went like insane.
Yeah.
She's like, you better stop this.
And stop pulling
shit.
this. Yeah.
And
for you guys
I
to
hope
come
God
here
can
and
save
pull
you.
This.
Yeah. She said, for you to come here and pull this shit.
Yeah.
She said the word?
Yeah.
Did she say effing insane or the fucking
No,
insane?
she said the word.
And nobody around you spoke up for you.
No.
So,
No.
I will say, Annalie, when I came over, you were in tears.
Yeah, I've never been yelled at like that. I mean, I've had people hate on me on the internet, but like it doesn't really affect me as much because it's just people online. But that just took me by surprise because I thought she was gonna be nice, and then she started like screaming at us and cussing at us. So yeah.
And so you said she walked away, and we thought that was kind of it. But she mentioned something to you about like working for the team, or
there was another lady that like told us like we were able to have our opinions, but we needed to not be political about it. And I tried to explain to her I wasn't trying to be political. I was just trying to support Sophie and support the other teams.
And you were
too.
just sitting there watching.
Yeah, we hadn't
You were cheering
interacted
for
with
both
anyone
sides.
except for like saying excuse me. Like we were really nice and stuff. And then this lady told us like, oh, you know who that is? And we were like, no.
So what was your reaction when I texted you that is the owner of the team?
It's just sad. We were like, what? Yeah, we were shocked. Yeah, it's disappointing though too, because she's also a woman and she just kind of cussed out two 16-year-olds that were just trying to have fun. We weren't trying to be political. You're just trying to support Sophie, which I guess maybe that. Oh, well.
Yeah. And so
Now, the first thing is, why would you feel it necessary to go and cuss at teenagers? That's number one. Number two, just as your other players have your players have their opinions, fans are allowed to have theirs. But they weren't out there like vividly. They weren't yelling at anybody. They weren't cussing at anybody. They weren't being derogatory. They were standing up and supporting a particular player and not saying anything about why they were supporting. Just hey, thank you for standing up for us. In what world? And oh, by the way, did I happen to mention that this isn't a league that loses over $40 million a year? This is a league that's being subsidized by the NBA, and they feel a need to go and alienate even more fans?
Craig, I've said it to you here before. The WNBA is the most racist, bigoted, homophobic organization in this country. Listen, the Ku Klux Klan looks at them and goes, damn, look at them. They're going crazy over there. This is absolutely ridiculous. The one of the women owners, she comes over and starts to scream at 16-year-olds. By the way, the only reason she screamed at 16-year-old girls is because they're the only ones that wouldn't smack the bitch in the face for saying something stupid like that. Everybody else would have filled the room with uppercuts. You come over here with that nonsense. So I'll be surprised if once they're done with Fauci, that we don't see hearings on the Hill about this, and they start taking away the protections from the WNBA, forcing them to maybe even shut down.
Well, the biggest thing, the biggest thing right now is the NBA is going to be hurt. But of all of the sports leagues, they are the worst. The NBA is, in fact, the worst when it comes to politicizing their positions, politicizing the sports. And it's hurt them. It really has hurt them in the bottom line. You know, even the NFL has learned, hey, you know what? Let's at least make sure that all the politicization is not on camera, and that we're doing our best to keep our biggest stars out of the political spotlight, because they're recognizing it hurts their brand. Yeah.
This all started, and nobody would know who Sophie was if the African American players had not been attacking the white players on the team, and the WNBA supporting it by not calling those fouls. Nobody would know who she is. they're the ones that empowered her to put her in this position.
And oh, by the way, it was the liberal media who asked her about her position on biological males and female sports, and she said, "Look," because they asked her, "Well, is this something you're going to be an activist about and go talk about?" She's like, "I'm not political. You ask me my position, I'm going to tell you. I'm tell you what I believe, but no, I'm not going to go out and be an activist on this." And so they're the ones. I mean, it's like you ask, and then she tells you the truth. And then you want to go and make a big deal out of it?
Yep.
And by the way, and then you're surprised when your fans, so when a group of your fans say, "Oh, that's what you believe? Oh yeah, no, I don't want to come watch you anymore."
Yep.
Why are you so surprised? You should not be surprised.
More dumbass.
There you go. Yep. There you go. All right, folks, that now brings us to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. If you want one on discount, just go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces, one word, just like it is right up there, and you're going to get your Hog Holster on discount today. All right, our first parting shot. Well, you've already had a chance to experience it, but hey, why not experience it again?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anything you say, 5. Go ahead, ask me a question. Did you? A secret document that I think you need to say.
There is one thing that I will say, and the ability to be able to use so many of Dave Chappelle's videos and some of these things is like I think he may qualify as a prophet.
He's a comedy prophet. He is a comedy prophet. Yeah.
Most definitely. Now, this next one, Mike, comes from your neck of the woods. Now, if you are in Florida and you are looking for a job, there is a particular sheriff's department that is, they got some opportunities for you.
Howdy, folks. I'm Sheriff Wayne Ivory of the Brevard County Sheriff's Office. Are you looking for a new career? Maybe you always wanted a career in the hospitality industry. Woo! Have we got a job for you? Now, I know what you're thinking, Wayne. I'd love to work at one of them there hotels. Well, friend, I'm not talking about this type of hospitality industry, as we just snuck in this hotel lobby to film our recruitment ad. No, sirree. I'm talking about working at Ivy's Iron Bar Lodge in one of the many career opportunities we currently have available. If you want to work in guest services, working at the front desk, assisting new arrivals with the check-in process, we got you covered. Say it ain't so, Wayne. Heck yeah, it's so. Maybe working as an activities director is more your style. Taking those staying at the lodge outside for a chance to maybe catch a breath of fresh air and get some exercise. Like to drive? We have immediate openings with our courtesy shuttle services team who make sure that our guests arrive safely at their various appointments and permanent destinations. Are those not your cup of tea? Well, don't you fret, because we also have vacancies in food and beverage services, as well as room attendants providing oversight for cleaning and maintaining our various lodge amenities. And folks, let's just say that none of that appeals to you. Well, guess what? We have career opportunities for security that helps keep things operating smoothly, even in the most lively of events. Maybe you got a green thumb, love the landscape. Well, look at here. We got the perfect job for you, managing a work crew that keeps the lodge and other properties manicured and polished. Now, I know what you're thinking. My dream job is to work with pets. Bam! Guess what? Yep, you guessed it. We are as pet friendly can be, as we have jobs where you get to actually walk our big, beautiful dogs anywhere on the property you want. You're a gamer, you say? Boy, do we got a gaming room like you ain't never seen before. It even comes with headsets and master alarms. Bottom line, folks, if you think the hospitality industry is right for you, then come on down to Ivy's Iron Bar Lodge and join the team. Now, folks, I know what you might be asking yourself. Do I have to be trained to do my dream job before I apply? A big giant heck no is the answer. Here at Ivy's Iron Bar Lodge, we're not only going to provide all the training you'll ever need, but pay for you to get a college degree on top of it.
Listen, I'm lucky enough to count Wayne Ivey as a friend. Years ago, he used to, when we were both at different agencies, we worked together and I reported to him plenty of times. And anytime I've ever needed him for the Arms Room Radio or any of the other events, Wayne has always been there for us. In fact, if we asked Wayne, I'm sure he'd come on this program. And he's about as Florida as you get. You heard him. It's not the Iron Bar Lodge. It's the Iron Bar Lodge.
Iron Bar.
Iron Bar.
Oh, that was hilarious. I love that one. Anyway, and by the way, just got one more video for you guys. And this one is, I'm sure we've played something along the lines of this before. I don't know that we've played this specific one before, but it just goes to point out how important the Second Amendment was to the Founding Fathers.
The second thing we wrote. It's the second thing we wrote. Out of all the things to write when starting a country, the second thing they wrote down is you better get a gun. The first thing they wrote down is you can say what you want, and then they were like, oh, but you better get a gun if you want to do that.
It's the truth.
It's the truth. That's a fact, Jack.
Yep.
All right, folks, so that brings us to the end of our program. But as we usually do, we're going to end the program with a quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yep. Get on over to Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net. Get yourself some AR barrels. They got any caliber, any length you desire. You can get all sorts of rifle calibers, pistol calibers, shotgun barrels as well. And in the same county under the jurisdiction of Sheriff Wayne Ivey there. So good people, all good people. California Republican Assembly fighting the good fight behind enemy lines. And if you want the best in tactical, concealed gear, weapons, support gear, law enforcement, fire, EMS, whatever it may be, get your group together, get your agency together, place an order at uscombatgear.com where you get everything except the gun.
That's right, folks. Thank you so much for liking and sharing the program and for tuning in with us and encouraging your friends to do the same. We're going to be back tomorrow on Free For All Friday. Till then, y'all have fun. You stay safe, and we will see you mañana. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.